So another day, another video about my main liquid-cooled PC. Now I actually wasn't going to do another video about this, but I have been getting questions in various videos about how this PC is doing, so I thought I'd update you guys about some plans I have moving forward with this PC. Now before we get into this video, I just want to point out that I am going to stream again later today for about 2 hours, so you can go check out my Twitch channel in the video description. Now just a quick recap of the previous video where I updated you on the state of my hardline cooled 7nm AMD editing rig. Now, after I built this PC, which in my opinion looks really awesome, I was having really weird temperature issues. Whenever I was doing any kind of like thermal benchmark on the graphics card or the CPU, I was getting really high temperatures just straight off the bat. Now fast forward a couple of months and the temperatures are actually a lot better. A lot of it has to do with the fact that the ambient temperature is about 10 degrees lower because we're well into autumn at the moment. But I'm getting fairly reasonable temperatures on the CPU and especially on the GPU. And I think the reason for that is the fact that that system has been very slowly bleeding air over the last 2 months. As you can see here, the reservoir level just keeps dropping. So every maybe 2.5 weeks, I'll pour a bit more water in to top it up, and then it'll drop back down to this level and I top it up. So it's been bleeding air for ages, and that makes me think that that was the issue all along and that there still is some air in the loop. Now I don't know why this loop retains air so much. I think it may be because of the like angled fittings on the CPU block. I think that may have something to do with it, because honestly, it's still bleeding air, and no matter how much I move the case around, I can't get more air to dislodge. It just kind of comes out over time. But I'm having a different issue, and the other issue is something that's quite irritating, because now that the air is bled out and the temperatures have kind of normalized, I may have to tear the loop down, which means I'll have to go through this process again. Now the problem that I have is not related to the actual loop, it's related to stability. There was a point that I was getting about 2 blue screens of death a day on the system, and I was getting this weird artifact where my screen would just go blank for like 10 seconds, and then when it came back, all of the kind of windows that had video playback on it would be blank. So like YouTube videos would go blank. Oh, yeah, Neko's playing with the boxes back there. So it meant that I was at a point where I was getting about 7 unexpected restarts a day while trying to edit videos on that system. Now my first thing that I wanted to do was obviously update the BIOS and see if that fixed anything. But for some reason, the motherboard refuses to update to a later version of the BIOS. I tried first with downloading the BIOS file and updating it through a USB stick, but for some reason it keeps saying that the BIOS file is invalid. And then I tried doing it over the internet and it just crashes mid BIOS file download every time. And I've tried like 3 or 4 new BIOS files and nothing works. So then I just reinstalled Windows to see how much of a difference that would make. And it's been a lot better, actually. I get about 2, maybe 3 blue screen of death every week now, instead of 2 to 3 a day. And I'm not getting that weird like screen blank artifact anymore. So the reliability is a lot better, but I still can't update to a new BIOS for some reason. So I think there's something wrong with the motherboard, and I really want to RMA it. But the problem is, for me to test the CPU in a different motherboard and the GPU and everything in a different motherboard, I have to tear the loop down, which has been bleeding air for the last 2 months. And it means that if I refill it and do this process again, it's going to take me ages to bleed air out of it. So it means I have to change something about the way that the loop is set up. And I kind of think I have an idea. I'm thinking of just scratching hardline altogether and going for a softline loop in that case. This PC is my main PC. It's what I use to edit all of my videos on. It's basically what I use to do all my work on. So reliability and ease of serviceability is extremely important on that system. And honestly, ease of serviceability isn't something that's ever been said in the same sentence as a hardline build. So a softline build would actually make it a lot easier because you don't have to drain the loop to take out and swap the CPU or to swap the motherboard or anything like that. Softline is just more convenient. Now my plan for what kind of tubing to go with is I'm most likely going to go with like matte black tubing. I'll show a picture on the screen now of what I want to use. I think it would look really cool and it would actually be quite a cheap modification to make, compared to the cost of the entire loop, because the actual tubing is fairly inexpensive and I just have to buy a couple of softline fittings to be able to convert the loop to a softline loop. Optimum Tech recently did like a mini ITX water-cooled loop where he used the kind of like matte black tubing, and I think it looks really cool. I think it may actually be a really great aesthetic for the build. So yeah, that's kind of the point that I'm at now. I'm gonna tear the loop down when that new motherboard comes that Highlander sent. Again, thank you very much for that. It's gonna really help me out when it comes to actually troubleshooting the reliability of the system and the weird issues that I've been having. And with that, it brings me to the end of just another video of me updating everyone on the state of my PC that's been such a nightmare. The name of the PC is actually pain in the butt at the moment because it really is a pain in the butt. And with that, if you like this video, do like and subscribe to the channel. If you have already subscribed, please turn on the bell notification next to the subscription thing, because I've noticed from my analytics that YouTube isn't sending out notifications to people. So, that really would help me out a lot. Follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. There's a Discord server. All of that's linked in the description below. And until the next video, bye-bye.